I just realized that I spent the entire day out and about getting stuff done with my hair looking like this. Apparently I have no pride at all. Hey guys, I have to test out this new windshield mount for my camera, so I thought I'd go ahead and talk about the election. Because I know that didn't make you just want to vomit, didn't it? No, but seriously, I want to talk about the election. Nothing serious. You guys know me. So, I went the other day to early vote. I went on, was it Friday? I think it was Friday that I went to early vote. And I'm in North Carolina, so they do early voting here. And they open it up in levels. And I think the first batch of early voting places actually opened up on the 17th, and I know the second batch opened up on the 27th, and we got lucky enough that we stopped at a place that opened up on the 27th and was just a little off the beaten path. So I don't think a whole lot of people knew that they were actually doing early voting there. So I only ended up waiting in line for like 30 minutes, and I know I had friends that were telling me they waited for like 2 or 3 hours. But I really lucked out, and I was only in line for 30 minutes. Honestly, they moved the line very quickly. There was a lot of people there. I'm gonna take these off, I don't need them. There was a lot of people there, but they seemed to really move the line along. So, I mean, they were taking everybody in groups of 5, and it's a little Baptist church up in the town that I live in, and I guess it was like their rec center or whatever. So, you know, you're standing there listening to all the conversations and everything, and at one point we actually noticed that there were these 2 buzzards that were circling the top of the center that we were all voting in, and people immediately got really quiet because it's buzzards, you know, and people got really quiet and they're looking, and finally somebody was like, this woman behind me, she was like, are those buzzards? And her daughter said, yeah, they're turkey vultures. And she made some comment, I can't remember what it was, and I turned around and I said to her, I said they can sense the souls of the voters inside dying. Man, I'll tell you, it has been, I know you're with me on this. I can't wait for this election to be over. I just can't wait. It's not too much longer, guys. Just hang in there just a little bit longer. Stay strong. Stay strong. It's almost over. I don't know. This has just been such an awful, awful election season. I mean, the candidates are just crap, and the whole thing is just so negative and so hateful. You know, I was always raised to believe that my competition was just that, competition, not my enemy. I mean, seriously, your competition is your competition, not your enemy. And I don't know. I can't see how we can keep on functioning if we hate each other so much. And I know what, you know, if people comment, I know what the comments are going to be. Oh, it was this candidate. Oh, no, it was this candidate. No, it was this group of people. No, it was this group of people. You know what? It was everybody. It was all of them. Name a candidate. It doesn't even have to be a presidential candidate. It can be any of your local candidates or anything like that. Name a candidate. And they were nasty and mean and hateful, and their videos were just something I wouldn't want children to watch. And I don't know. I don't understand why it has to be this way. Don't give me a 30-second advertisement about why your opponent sucks. Tell me why you don't suck. That's what I want to see. But most importantly, I just really hate seeing all the hatred and negativity. But I came up with an idea for how to get more people to vote. Hear me out. If we could find a way that when you voted, you could opt out of all those advertisements on your TV and your radio and the computer, I guarantee you, people would be out there on the first day voting like crazy. Even if you had to wait in line for 12 hours, you would be out there waiting to vote. People who have never voted before in their lives would be out there chomping at the bit to cast their ballot. I know I would. Doesn't matter. I have never in my life missed an election. I even vote in school board. I don't have kids, but I vote in the school board. And I know a lot of people, poo-poo it. No, your vote doesn't count for anything, and it doesn't matter. Whatever you do, you know what? I don't care. I'm voting. It may not matter. Maybe it does matter.Maybe it doesn't. Either way, I'm voting. Yeah, it just gives me the right to bitch and moan. I don't, whatever. While I was there, we had you got the people that are working the polls and everything. And I had this gentleman while I was waiting in line, and he was working the polls, and he was talking to everybody that was coming through, because it was, by the time you got up to where he was, you were probably a little bit irritated. It's, get over yourselves. But he was talking to everybody, and I don't know how or why we decided to start discussing the judges. And this guy told me he doesn't fill in the dots for any of the judges, and he doesn't think the judges are all that important. So I kind of wanted to mention that as well, mostly because of the fact that I don't think people realize just how important those judges actually are. They're a lot more important than you think. And I don't think you realize it until you got to stand in front of one. But you really do need to do your research. You need to know what these judges stand for. And you need to know what it is that they've done in the past. Nice bike. Anyway, you need to know what they've done in the past. You need to know what they stand for, what they believe. Because, that's how you end up with rapists getting off with a slap on the wrist. You know what I'm saying? Because you didn't pay attention to who you were voting for, and you just filled in the person whose name you thought sounded neat. And I gotta tell you, with over the past, 2 years or so, everything that happened with my father, we had to go to court. Me and my mom had to go to court over my father. And I had to stand in front of a judge who was out of line. And I won't mention his name. But the judge was out of line without really knowing anything about our case, or, really knowing the details or what was going on. He made some inappropriate comments to me and my mother about it. And we were at a state where we were afraid for ourselves, and we were afraid for my father. And he made these comments, and they scared us even further. It added more stress onto us than we actually needed. And he was way out of line. And we ended up having to get a lawyer to do something that really shouldn't have required a lawyer. But we were so afraid because of what this guy already thought. He stood there and gave his personal opinion on it, and his personal opinion didn't matter in the case because he really didn't know what was going on. And he didn't even bother to look at the file. His name was on the ballot. That judge's name was on the ballot. And I stood there and I looked at it, and I knew going in that his name was on the ballot, because I alerted my mother to the fact, because my mother kept forgetting what his name was. And I will never forget his name. And I told my mother he was on the ballot, and unfortunately he was running unopposed. So he's going to get in anyway. I forget how it works when you're running unopposed. I think you only need as long as you get one vote. So basically you go in and you vote for yourself, and you're golden. So, it really doesn't matter. But I couldn't bring myself to fill in the little dot for him because he's a jerk, and I know he's a jerk. And we don't need jerks up in the courts. We don't need jerk judges. We just don't. With all the crap that's going on in this country right now, we really don't need it. We don't need jerks sitting on the bench. And I'll be honest with you, I have felt very strongly about judges. In our last election, we had a judge that I knew. He used to be a customer of mine when I worked in retail. And I knew him. And I know that me and him do not share a political party. And we don't necessarily believe in the same things all the way down the line. But I knew what type of judge he was. And I did my research and everything, and I made sure that what I was getting wasn't hearsay, because I don't like to vote for hearsay. But I knew what I was voting for, and he was the kind of judge we really, it's who you want in, up on the bench. I mean, this was a guy who really took an active role in the lives of kids that appeared before him. So, the judges are just as important. I mean, I know everybody wants to vote for the president. Everybody wants to vote for the president. But you know what? Your local stuff is just as important, if not more important. And I mean, every year that comes around, everybody says this presidential is really, really important. This presidential election is really, really important. And it is, because whoever you're electing is going to pick Supreme Court justices, and they're going to, they're going to deal with all of our laws and everything, and they're there to enforce our laws. So yeah, it's important of who we pick. But Congress and the Senate are just as important, and your judges are just as important, and your town council. Trust me, your town council is important. You know what? I shouldn't even get into this. I just should not even get into this. We have a crap town council, and they have completely destroyed our town. I'll leave it at that. It was a nice little town, and they completely screwed it up. So voting for your town council is, in fact, very important. So that's why I always urge people, just vote in everything. Vote in everything. The school board. I mean, when I went to vote for the school board, literally, I got there, I left to get to the polls, and it was only open one day. They didn't do early voting for that, so it was only open one day. And I got to one of like 3 places that was open for voting for school board. And I got there probably about a half an hour before the polls closed. When I put my ballot into the shredder, the counting machine, I was number 135. So only 135 people had voted at that one of 3 polling places. Those are your kids. Those are the schools. Those are the kids, man. This is deciding how the schools are going to go and how everything's going to work, and you're not going to vote in that. I don't even have a kid in the schools, and I voted because I thought it was that important. And you got kids in the school, and you're not voting in that? But I bet you got your ass out to vote for the president, didn't you? Like I said, the president's important. Really, the president is important. And some people will say it's not, but it is. The president is important. But everything else is just as important. Really. Your local representatives and your town council and all of that good stuff, and the judges, that directly affects your life. You and your family, it affects your life, it affects your children's future. Just vote. Just vote. Do yourself good. But man, oh my Lord, look at the size of that sign. I can't wait for this to be over. I cannot wait for this to be over. If that sign was any bigger, I could live inside of it. I don't even know. It might actually show up on the side over here. Can you see it yet? Can you see it? There it is. There it is. Yeah, it's huge. They don't do those around here. I don't know why. I don't know how they got that passed. They're really picky about their signs around here. That is a huge sign. Anyway, they're really picky about their signs down here. They'll sue business owners and charge them like $1 million a day until they pull out a sign that they don't like. One of the places I used to work, we had a cop drag our sign in and throw it in our store and start hollering and screaming. We didn't even know we were violating a law. But I'm amazed that they allowed that gigantic sign, but all right, whatever. I guess it really doesn't matter, because everywhere you go, it's like all the greenways and everything. Like, we've got these center islands. They're just covered in signs. There's so many of them that you just can't even read them anymore. Seriously, you can't even read the signs. And I always hate these signs anyway, because they're the only reason that they're out there is for name recognition. They can't, obviously, because you're driving past, they can't sit there and tell you everything they believe. Most of them don't even have their political party listed. 3/4 of them don't even list what the heck they're running for. It's just their name. So they're just going for name recognition because they hope that when you go to the polls to fill in your little dots that you're just going to recognize their name and go, oh, I know that guy, I'm going to vote for him. Please don't do that. That is just the worst. It's just the worst. Oh, God almighty. Oh. Okay, I just watched a car, like, just about kill a bicyclist. I gotta be honest with you guys, this is the first time I'm doing a video while driving. I can't even begin to tell you the amount of looks I'm getting. The looks I'm getting are incredible. I just pulled up when I was talking about that humongous sign down there. There was a car like directly next to me on my left-hand side over here. And the woman in the passenger seat was staring at me. The problem is the way my dashboard is shaped. It kind of, it's like a drastic slant out, and then there's a pretty thick piece over here. So if you're on the left-hand side of my car, you can't see this phone and mount. If you're on the right side, you can see it. But if you're on the left-hand side, you can't see it. So that woman really just thought I was in here talking to myself. I think I just got that the light changed. You should have moved 3 seconds before it changed honk. You will either calm down. Calm the F down. If I wasn't filming, I would have actually said that, but I'm not going to say that on my YouTube channel. That is an ugly car. What is that? Ooh, good. We're going to have a red light with it. We'll find out what the hell that is. That's ugly as... That's a BMW? Really? The BMW i3 with the white sides and the black back. Yeah, I guess it's got a black hood, black roof, and black trunk door. Looks like one of those cars was in an accident and they couldn't replace it with a matching colored part. It's a BMW i3. That is ugly. Why would you pay BMW prices for that? I gotta stop bad-mouthing that because somebody's gonna come in here and shoot me. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So I've pulled myself off of my little tricky back road to get around. And yeah, that's great. I didn't need the front of my car. Back off. I got off that nice, cute little back road that I was just on, and I'm out here in traffic now on a main road, and the evilness and hatred of our election has affected our drivers. Because everybody seems, there's 9 bazillion people on the road, and everybody drives on it like they're the only one out here. This guy cut me off so close, he just about took the front of my car off, and now he's driving significantly under the speed limit. Yeah, it just ain't even worth getting angry about. I'm getting ready to turn anyhow, so bite me. Watch this guy hit me while I'm trying to take a turn. What makes it even worse is I got a brand new car. I got this car in July. It's oh God, it's covered in dirt. I'm not as obsessive about this car as I was with my last one when I first bought it. But I am a little obsessive. I'm very obsessive about the interior. Because as you can see, my interior is tan. So I get all crappy with everybody about, don't get that on my interior. Don't spill it on my interior. Are we having a neighborhood Christmas? Yeah, because it's Christmas tomorrow. we have like a neighborhood Halloween party or something? There's these weird little signs. What do we got going on? Halloween party. Oh God. 5:30 to 7 for what? I have no idea what the heck these signs say. 800 kids. What is that kid wearing? His mother's drapes? Okay. Sorry. It really looked... They were like navy blue pants with giant red flowers. And they really did look like his mother's drapes. I'm sorry. I just... Stop complaining I didn't put him on camera. He's a little kid. I ain't gonna... Little kids don't care. They may have actually been his mother's drapes. I don't know. Little kids don't care. They'll wear anything. It's a shame I voted. I would have voted for that kid for president. Just stopped and like, hey kid, what's your name? I'm writing you in for president. But you gotta wear them pants every single day. Oh my God. Kill me.